Good morning. Today is January 10th, 2023. Call a Board of County Commission meeting to order. Welcome all that are here in person, and some very echoey. And we have a couple of different things to do this morning. We're going to have our invocation by Hank Breitenkamp from the Humanists of the Treasure Coast, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which I'm going to take the suggestion that Commissioner Hetherington did while she was chair, and throughout the year highlight an American hero to lead us in the pledge. And this morning it will be Bradley Hinsey, who before the pledge will give us a little background on his experiences, and so I hope you will indulge us all. So if you would all please stand for our invocation. Mr. Breitenkamp, welcome. First of the year.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm sure I join with everyone in this chamber and in the community at large in saying that I'm happy to be here at this time, the new year, 2023. And in this place, Martin County, the most precious gem of the Treasure Coast, in the Sunshine State of Florida, in the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Martin County has well proven itself to be a model community that has demonstrated what hard work, teamwork, and the American spirit can produce. An essential part of the good things we find all across this community every day begins right here with the vision and direction the commissioners provide for the management of the county departments. Whether they be administration, growth management, parks and recreation, public works, utilities, and solid waste, just to name a few. The combination of committed leadership and great staff make good things happen. Teamwork really does make the dream work. It doesn't happen overnight. We rest squarely on the shoulders of those who came before. From our first residents, the indigenous people, the early pioneers, the entrepreneurs who took a chance, and everyday citizens who work hard day in and day out to make good things happen for their family and the community. So now in this new year now upon us, 2023, we must take the baton from those who came before and grip it firmly as we endeavor to continue the race and tell ourselves individually and as a community, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to us. It's up to us to participate in the life of our communities by getting to know our neighbors, showing empathy for others, being responsible for our actions, being good stewards of our beautiful environment, realizing that we are an integral part of planet Earth, our fragile island home. All this in a spirit of humility and altruism, with high ethical standards as we practice critical thinking, sound reasoning, and respect in our deliberations. Even though significant, we can't rest on our efforts and the successes of the past. As the 13th century lover of nature and all things good, Francis of Assisi said, "Let us begin to do good, for up until now we have done so little." You and I, neighbors together, we can continue to make good things happen at this time, 2023, and in this beautiful place, Martin County, the most precious gem of the Treasure Coast, in the Sunshine State of Florida, in the United States of America, truly the land of the free and the home of the brave, truly a place where we, the people, together make good things happen every day.
Thank you, sir, very much. Mr. Hinsey, why don't we do the pledge first, and then you'll give us your background. That way, since we're all standing already.
Yes, sir. First of all, let me thank you guys for the opportunity to come here and share in this moment. I really appreciate that opportunity, along with, to echo his sentiments, I have a strong love for our country.
Thank you very much.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Why don't you share with us a little of your background? And thank you so much for, the honor is ours to have you.
Appreciate that.
Come closer to the mic.
So I was a hungry, energetic, young 18-year-old coming out of high school back in 1991. I was born in Wisconsin. Like many, went off to college, did well in college, but I didn't really have a direction, which kind of felt a little bit off for me because I was a pretty driven young person in my life. So talking with some folks, including my older brother, who was a service member, decided to join the Navy. So I signed up for the Navy, left for the Navy in early '92, and I went in to be a submariner. So on submarines, my job was to operate the nuclear reactor and the associated equipment that supported propulsion and some of the life systems on board the submarine. My intention was to do my 6 years and then take my education and move forward, but I ended up staying for almost 14 years. What an opportunity that was. It took me across the country, several different duty stations. I've lived in Hawaii, I've lived in Washington State, Groton, Connecticut. I did a lot of my training here in Orlando, Florida. Got to see a lot of the world. But most importantly to me, and I probably didn't know this as much as I do now, looking back, but I will never do another job in my life outside of being a father and a husband that was more important than what I did from the years of '92 to 2006. I take a lot of pride in that. I get a lot of people that thank me for my service, but really it was my honor and privilege to serve the country because the education, the experience, and the camaraderie that it gave me kind of set the standard for how I was going to live the rest of my life. I did take my education. I finished my nuclear engineering degree while I was serving, and I've sort of done the same job my entire life. As soon as I left the Navy, I took my skill set and education into the commercial field, and I've been making power at nuclear plants since 2006 in 3 different states. First being Wisconsin, second California, and then I moved here in 2013, and I've been a resident in Jensen Beach working at the St. Lucie Power Plant
One
for
of
the
your
last
heroes
10
in
years.
Jensen Beach.
So just to wrap this up, my oldest son served. I'm really still trying to encourage my other 2 to go. They're not quite ready to commit, but what an awesome place to start for a young person, and it will serve you for the rest of your life, even once you get out. And that's my story.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. Okay, thank you. That's an excellent way for us to start the year, I believe. We have an additional item. It's consent agenda item number 11, Local Planning Agency Commission District 3 appointment. There are no consent pulls.
Move approval of the agenda and consent.
Thank you. First motion of the year from Commissioner Smith to move approval of the agenda and the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes 4-0. Let the record show that Commissioner Hurd will not be in attendance today. We go to public comment. Anybody else that has one of these forms that would like to make a public comment, you can hand them to the bailiff. Just for the folks that might not be familiar, you're allowed 3 minutes to address the board as a whole. At the 2-minute and 45-second point, you're going to hear a tone when you're up here at the podium. That doesn't mean you need to stop. It means you have 15 seconds to sort of finalize your thoughts. And with that, our first request to speak form is Mr. Pat Arena. Mr. Arena, welcome.
Commissioners, staff. Pat Arena, Jensen Beach. I have been pleading with this commission for almost a year on Lot 91 in Sugar Hill. It was the only lot in the entire southeast section that was determined to be a wetland. But relatively new information became available to shed light on why it was a wetland or why it became a wetland. Your topography map showed clearly at the 14-foot elevation that the street M. Carey and at least 7 homes have been draining into Lot 91. Also, the historic permitting from the South Florida Water Management District permit. This is the state permit allowing the county to issue building permits. Clearly states that swales are required to prevent erosion on adjacent lots, and that is also a Martin County requirement. This was totally ignored in 2003 with Lot 90 and 92, even though in 2002, Martin County put me through hell so my water would not drain off my property to an adjacent lot, which was a 20-foot easement. It wasn't even somebody's home land. Does not your conscience tell you that this lot requires special dispensation because of the county's negligence by not requiring swales on Lot 90 and 92 that created this wetland, this so-called wetland? You issued COs, completion of occupancy, without it being complete. The 2 lots next to 91. The last time I was up here over a month ago, this commission said someone will get back to you. That never happened. We are asking the county to issue a letter to Mr. Aronson allowing him to build without any wetland restrictions. Please, somebody get back with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arena. Mr. Donaldson, can you have someone get back to Mr. Arena, please?
Yes, I will. We've had numerous conversations on this, and I'll provide a memo update to the board.
Thank you. Mr. Pine, you are our next request to speak form. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tom Pine. I've been a resident of Jensen Beach. Our Martin County Commissioners over the past 4 years have been spending our tax dollars like drunken bums. First, it was the mooring field in Jensen Beach, $1.2 million of local tax dollars plus state grants. Now a second mooring field in Port Solano area. I haven't seen the price tag yet. It was probably hidden in the consent agenda as routine expenditures, the county's slush fund. The majority of money used to pay for these projects comes from local tax dollars, and they benefit just one group of Martin County residents, the business community, the Martin County Chamber of Commerce. I am one of many Martin County taxpayers that's sick and tired of feeding the big boys of Martin County Chamber of Commerce our tax dollars. Add to these 2 mooring fields the new and improved Martin County Golf Course, which has every bell and whistle known to mankind, with a cost to Martin County taxpayers $4.6 million. These 3 projects together in just 4 years cost we the taxpayers of Martin County about $6.8 million. With the 2024 election of 3 county commissioners fast approaching, the new fire training center is also under construction. These 4 issues should be used by we the taxpayers of Martin County as a learning experience. Fast forward a couple years and our county commissioners will once again hire another consulting firm to claim the need for a fire assessment tax on we the taxpayers of Martin County. They will use fear and try and intimidate us because fires can be very dangerous. They will never mention their outrageous spending habits, just constantly claiming the need for a dedicated source of money for a top quality fire department. The next organized attack will consist of their backers from the Martin County Chamber of Commerce and the Martin County Fire Rescue. These are the special interests that keep our county commissioners elected. These are the same ones that pushed for the passage of the rural lifestyle. Today in the consent agenda, $20,364,966.31 spent between November 30th and December 26th without identifying the payee or the purpose of the payments. So I understand that I don't understand all the commotion because a county commissioner got elected by lying when this government lies to the taxpayers every single meeting, hiding whatever they don't want to talk about in the consent agenda. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Leanne Greer. Ms. Greer, good morning and welcome.
I'm here on behalf of Wojciech Ballpark. I believe that some people have seen some of the proposals and ideas that we have in regards to correcting the park. The biggest concern is there's been a number of updates and upgrades and repairs done to surrounding ballparks, but Wojciech has not received any since 2004. 2004 is when it received its one and only update and permit pulled in Martin County in 45 years, and that was for a concession stand. We're still dealing with original fences, bleachers. We don't have sunshades. We have one water fountain on 11 acres, and the problem is truly disturbing. We also are the one park that operates 50% out of the year for our baseball league, and we have surrounding communities that use it daily, such as Boys and Girls Club, Port Salerno Elementary, and it is inside of a neighborhood that uses it often for their children. So the idea that this park has been, in terms, neglected is a serious concern. We do understand that there is an ARP grant that has been approved for Wojciech Park, which also leads me to believe that the county recognizes that it does need $1.7 million. But the community, the baseball league, and all of its, area surrounding is concerned that the tax-paying dollars that they've been paying for 45 years is not being used in that park. So in addition to the ARP grant, which vaguely uses verbiage in relation to impact from COVID, this isn't COVID. This isn't the last 3 years. This is 45 years of not receiving any sense of funding that the surrounding baseball parks within our community and county has received. So the problem with the ARP grant is that it should be used for what it's termed as, which is to apply improvements, not repairs. These are repairs. These are areas that you saw no problem with applying funding yearly from our Parks Department to apply to other parks in our county, but not to Wojciech. So with the initiation for that, I am asking for commissioners to assist us in amending the current approved parks budget of $2.2 million and to assist us in reevaluating the use of those funds. One allocation was made that there was going to be $400,000 used to renovate the skate park in Palm City. I took pictures and shared with the commissioners. The skate park is in no way in need of that funding over Wojciech Park at this time. There's also several other areas that were in that budget that need to be reevaluated, and Wojciech, it's its turn to use county funds. It's not appropriate, in my opinion, or the 400 people that have shared their concerns and allowed me to lead them in this endeavor, that the only time that Wojciech Park is to receive any repairs is when it's free for the county. That's unfair. These are county dollars that are used in taxpayers, and they deserve to see it in their own communities.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we can, this Casey, want to talk about the same thing? Then we'll bring it up. Mr. Cass, while you're standing up, why don't you come forward? Casey Cass is next. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Casey Cass. I'm the owner and president of Casco.
Hold the mic up a little bit. Thank you.
Casco Companies, which is a family of 5 companies. Our principal goal is to make a decent living and help support our community. It's ingrained in our structure to the point that as a hiring requirement, we require our employees to dedicate a minimum amount of time to community service throughout the year and usually quarterly. So I'm here to support what Leanne spoke about. Obviously, Casco is a large supporter of that, of the league portion, because we feel that it's an integral part of the community where families have come together and put together that that league. And what's important to know is that that's Salerno. It's one of our lower income areas. The other parks are basically not situated in neighborhoods. so that park gets more use, has less graffiti or no graffiti compared to other parks. And I just feel that it's very important that we make it a safe place for the kids to use. We're also a big supporter of Boys and Girls Club who are using it there. The schools use it. And we have issues with a fence that's 45 years old. The balls get stuck in it. There's rusted, broken springs on it. The soil that goes on, I'm not a ballpark expert. I should be with all the construction that I do. But I understand that the clay that goes on the field, all the other ones have brand-new clay. We have rock that bounces up and it's caused injuries as well. So whatever support you can give, it's definitely a community issue, and it's a central part of that area growing and becoming more of a gem for the community. So please consider that, whatever help you can give them. And I also want to say, anything you're short, I'll help you out. All right, so Casco in the past 7 years has given well over $1 million to local charities. So we're extremely dedicated to it. I'm not just up here talking. We are a major supporter of that league and multiple other ones in the community. So it's a quality of life issue. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next request to speak form is Butch Olson. For this. Martin County Mavericks is there. Morning, sir. Welcome, Butch.
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you. So, yes, I'm here on just speaking, helping out Martin County Mavericks and all the folks that use Wildersack Park. It has been just completely neglected. So the Martin County Mavericks, this is a group that is it's a very humble group. So it's a baseball group, and they are co-ed, and their group is between the ages of 4 to 17 years old. And they're not the only group that uses this. Mr. Cass, said that, Boys and Girls Club use it. It's a great park, and it's just been absolutely neglected by our Parks and Rec department. I didn't come here to throw stones. It's just, it's really gotten to a really terrible spot, and it's a very historical and special part of Port Salerno. And it's not just Port Salerno people that use it. I mean, a lot of their group is from Palm City and other parts of the county. So, we're here today to ask you to do whatever you can to try and get this budget amended, because it has absolutely been overlooked. So one of the reasons I got involved with this is, Ms. Greer has been working with Parks and Rec for a while now, for months and months. And, one of the comments she received was that, well, if the batting cages are that bad, then we'll just lock them down if it's that much of a safety issue. And that really bothered me. It bothered a lot of other people in Martin County. And that's absolutely unacceptable. And we just can't accept that. So, again, we appreciate your time and hope you can do what you can to get this budget amended. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have, I believe, one more on the same topic, Mr. Joseph Scalise? Scalise? Scalise. I'm a Paisan, I should know, right? Some people throw that E on the end. Welcome, sir. Good morning.
Yep, I'm here on behalf of the Martin County Mavericks as well. Lifelong resident, Martin County. And when you go around, we go to some of these other fields, and you just see, our fields from the past. And there's certain things that, like they mentioned, the batting cages, we get nowhere when we try to go. So we need to get some transparency and communication and try and get some things happening here, because we offer baseball co-ed starting at 4 years old for T-ballers. Most of our group is middle schoolers. So sports have changed over the years. You have a lot of groups that travel, and it's expensive. So we offer places for a lot of kids that they're not welcome to other places, either based on age or income, restrictions. So we offer we have a diverse group of kids, and we've brought a lot to the community that other leagues haven't been able to do. And we're trying to grow it, and we just want good grounds. We have lots of Hal Patioki in 2018 got all their fencing replaced, and that park's half the age of Wojciech. Citrus Park, we've been trying to get sunshades. They've had them since 2017. A lot of places have had their sunshades replaced more than once, and we still have yet to receive one. We offered to put them up on our own budget, and we were told we weren't allowed to. So anywhere where, like Mr. Cass said, you know, we have lots of volunteers that are willing to put their own dime, their own sweat into any of these projects. So, you know, we're all open and ready to get things done, and we're looking for help from y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You wanna go?
I was just going to say that Ms. Greer put together a really good presentation that I think we made a copy for everybody. It was very comprehensive. And as a parent who, you know, my kids didn't play baseball or softball, but they played organized rec basketball, and it's so important in their development. And I champion what you're doing. And I know Kevin Abate and Kevin Kerwin, you know, has talked to you, and you're going to make a presentation at the PRAB board on January 19th.
You'd have to come forward to the microphone. That's okay.
Yes, we are aware that they are making a presentation, and there has been some discussion into performing some of these much-needed repairs for safety issues. But once again, I and all of the league and the community still feel that it's just seems kind of off and upsetting that it's being done on a grant's dime. Once again, they pay the same millage rate and property taxes. Why has it been skipped? And why is this year's budget that Kevin Abbott approved in December, which I objected to publicly during the Parks meeting, that these other items take precedence over Wojciech Park? It is a safety issue. It's not cosmetic, and it needs to be reevaluated. And I'm asking for an amendment to that budget and to have it truly analyzed for why we're spending that money. Wojciech Park deserves to see its property taxes from its surrounding communities used for itself, not just when it's free. And that is something that is a problem. And the 1.7 needs to be applied for what it's truly indicated for in grant terminology, which is improvements, not repairs. These are repairs that Kevin Abbott and the Parks Department have no trouble noting and spending money on out of their budget when it comes to other baseball fields, readily, steadily, and repeatedly.
So perhaps after that PRAB meeting, the Parks Department can come back and give us an update.
I was just going to make the same recommendation. If your meeting, if the Parks and Rec Advisory meeting is on the 19th, I would make, we'll have an agenda item on our next meeting here, which is January 24th. So they'll have the meeting on the 19th, and then I would expect an agenda item, Mr. Donaldson from Parks and Rec, to explain the history and the situation at Wojciech Park. And then also, if the example of the skate park in Palm City, we had a budget hearing a couple of years ago where we all sort of chipped in and moved things around so that it felt a little more equitable. You know, I have no problem, as the Palm City Commissioner, Hobe Sound, Jensen Beach, I know Commissioner Hurd would participate as well, if we need to maneuver some things around. This is the first I'm hearing of it, it's not in my
Yes,
district.
and I understand that.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, I do know that all of us as district commissioners do push Parks and Rec, and, you know, we're all grabbing them in 5 different directions. But every park in the county belongs to all of us as your representatives, so next meeting,
So
on
just-
January 24th, we're going to have an agenda item to discuss this.
So that's when it would be what they call amended?
Well, we'll have to get into the details. You'll go to the Parks and Rec first. I don't want to say something that can't happen
Okay.
because there's a certain process, but you have the interest of the 4 of us, and I'm sure when Commissioner Hurd's back, you'll have her interest as well.
And is it possible to put it on record now that I did have a meeting with 5 parks officials outside of the scheduled advisory board meeting? And he noted at that time that there was $500,000 in unallocated funds that he was considering using for WOJO. So that may help with this budgeting revision process to be able to allocate for those as well. Because at this point, like I said, 1 water fountain, 11 acres, we just have so much to do. That 1.7 is gonna touch the cake, but it's not gonna make it.
You had us at good morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you have our interest now. We're all paying attention. I'm sure Mr. Abate or some others in Parks and Rec are following along with this conversation in real time. And next meeting, that's as quick as we can meet with you, will be at our next meeting. And so if you have folks that want to come and participate in that conversation, we're going to have a conversation on the 24th.
As a side note, it's been good though, because it's brought our community a little closer, and it's brought our baseball team a little bit closer, because it's nothing better than, a common interest, and kind of just makes everyone bond. So it has been in that sense, but we do want to have create a space that's going to give what the community obviously needs, which is that middle school gap of kids. They need a place to play.
Thank you. I know our Parks and Rec want to have every park site in our inventory to be perfect, and so there's a lot of them. I know they maintain a tremendous amount of space, but as you said, and I believe you when you say it, I think it's your turn.
It is. Thank you.
Long overdue. So I know that our guys will come up with something that you'll be happy with.
Great. I look forward to hearing it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the last request to speak form. If anyone else would like to address us before we move on to the regular agenda, now would be the time. Seeing none, we start with commissioner comments. Commissioner Smith, Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year, Mr. Chairman. So the week before Christmas was as magical as Christmas can be. Both the Senate and the House in Washington passed a National Defense Authorization Act bill, which contained in it our Coral Reef Reauthorization Act. And so after 5 years of working with everybody that would listen to us in D.C., the Coral Reef, and that's not what it's actually called, but it's what I call it, the Coral Reef Reauthorization Act passed in the National Defense Reauthorization Bill. And the President signed it on the Friday before Christmas. So it is law, as well as the WRDA bill moved through its process, which is always good for Florida, certainly good for Martin County. And so with that, there's a couple people, and clearly when you start listing people's names, you will forget people or you will leave people out, but some that just pop to the top of the list of people to thank for their dedication and their really hard work over these 5 years to get us to where we got to. First and foremost, Senator Rubio's office really was a lot of inspiration behind the reauthorization, because one of Senator Rubio's staff, Wes Brooks, who definitely deserves a big thank you, helped create and write the language that ultimately would pass 2 weeks ago. Senator Scott's office as well was incredibly helpful and worked with us all along the way. I mentioned Wes Brooks. Wes really, there was a meeting we had one day when Congress was out of session. We stood in the hallway for 15 or 20 minutes, and Wes went through every single point that was important to us and important to Florida, and certainly important to corals around the world relative to our 7 territories. And he pretty much hit most of those right on the money, and that's really what was the crafting of that bill, if you will. Later on in the process, I got to know James Chang in Senator Schott's office. James worked really hard on the other side of the aisle with Wes to make sure that both sides fully understood and worked together to make sure that we could get a bill passed. And so, James, thank you for all of your effort. Our local hero here in Martin County, Kathy Fitzpatrick, who decided, I don't know why, that she ought to retire, silly girl. But really, in so many ways, there are so many things that Kathy has done, everything that's in the water, or on the beach, in the inlet, underwater, and I failed to mention this last time when we were talking about Kathy, the artificial reef program, all of the things that she touched, and so much work goes into it that people hardly ever see and ever really understand, that it just happens and it's really neat, and all of a sudden there's a ship out on the ocean and all of a sudden it gets sunk and now we have an artificial reef. Well, it took years to get there and years of dedication and work. So Kathy, thank you for that. Thank you for all of your efforts making sure that the Reauthorization Act got done, because it really took an amazing team to do it. One of our best champions on the elected side down in Broward County was Beam Fur, or is Beam Fur. Beam partnered up with us very early on from Broward County and really took it on as a mission as well, to make sure that wherever he could be, wherever it needed to be, Beam was there to speak on behalf of the reef and speak on behalf of Florida and make sure that it actually got done. Greg Burns in Washington, one of our lobbyists up there, kept things moving, kept people communicating, kept people in the loop. And Greg, we really do appreciate all of your work. Back locally here in Florida, I call her the goddess of coral and all things coral. I don't know really internationally if there's anybody better at understanding how coral reefs work and the importance of them than Joanna Walzak at DEP. She is absolutely amazing when she speaks. If you don't know anything about coral, you will know everything there is to know about coral when she's done. That's how good she is. And she can put it in really super plain language, or she can get incredibly technical and complicated. But Joanna really behind the scenes in so many ways, because state employees aren't allowed to lobby, but kept us informed, kept us the ball moving, and just really worked incredibly hard. And someone she works with on a regular basis is Alex Reed. And Alex Reed has been in DEP for years, and Alex I think oversees the program now. And of course our governors, last couple of governors have supported financially here locally, I say locally in Florida, a significant increase in funding to go to the disaster that we have going on with our coral. So long story short, the reauthorization will dramatically change how nationally, internationally we deal with coral disease, coral bleaching, and what's certainly happening here with our reef in Florida, because we do have the only continental reef track in the United States. So thank you to everybody on that list. There's hundreds of more people behind the scenes that were involved, but I think those are some of the most key important people that certainly need a little bit of a shout out this morning. So Mr. Chairman, thank you for all the time, but 5 years was a long time to get that bill passed, but they got it done.
Thank you, and I know you put a tremendous amount of effort into that as well, so congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Hetherington.
I have two items, and hopefully Mr. Donaldson will help me out with the first one. Just as an update to my fellow commissioners, I wasn't at this meeting last meeting, but Ms. Cook over off of Green Lane, I believe, has been impacted by development, and she's been here in front of us a number of times to speak. We have met with Ms. Cook, and I know staff has met, and I just thought Mr. Donaldson would give a brief update just so that all of our colleagues are on the same page with that.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to report other than the developer is still on hold pending complete resolution on it. Our Public Works Department is working on it. I believe there has been some headway into some solutions that they're working on. I had to update yesterday on their on how they could provide sewer to Ms. Cook's house and some other remedies to solve the drainage issue. But at this point,
They submitted plans for the drainage?
yes, they have submitted plans for their site work. They have not successfully demonstrated a remedy to our satisfaction for Ms. Cook at this time, though.
Okay. Well, I just thought it would be, since we don't get to talk to each other outside of this
Yes.
meeting, that if it would be nice that we're all on the same page. And then secondly, Commissioner Campy, when you have the affordable housing next item, Michael Circus just a couple days ago brought an idea to the table, which, at first glance, I think it certainly is something worth looking into. It's something that really we would it's the state statute that would need to be changed, and we would simply just support it as a legislative priority. And it really has to do with expanding the Save Our Homes and allowing generational incentives. So it certainly can be explained better. I just started reading it, just met with them the other day. But if you can include that maybe as an item for discussion, the next item that we have forward. And Mr. Circus, I hope that you'll share that with them so they can get edification before that meeting.
Perfect. Thank you very much for both of those. I'm interested in the Miss Cook, I think all of us are, the woman that had been here twice for an issue of development near her home that had caused adverse, catastrophic, potentially adverse effects on her lifestyle, her home. So I like, Mr. Donaldson, that the county is continuing to put pressure on the developer, because one woman against the developer is not as powerful as the county making sure that not only does the developer do it the right way, but corrects the mistakes they've already made. Commissioner Jenkins.
Happy New Year to everybody. This just came to my mind, which always gets me in trouble, but during one of my county commissioner certification dots up in Tallahassee, I believe it's called the Florida Housing Coalition. Colleen has all the information. When I was chair in 2020, wonderful year for all of us, I was trying to get them to do that presentation to us because I was really impressed on affordable housing and the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it and all that other stuff. I would like to see if we could get that with the chair's permission. I will have my aide kind of work on that. So that's one thing. The other thing is I attended the Jupiter Island Town Commission meeting yesterday. The Beach Road project came up, and I was instructed as their liaison to the County Commission to bring back to you a heartfelt thank you. That project has gone off without a hitch, and not only thanking our board, but also thanking our staff of being the most professional people on the planet. As you know or may not know, when that project has been talked about for years and years, it was DOT, and anyway, there was a lot of trepidation, anxiety, and a whole bunch of other adjectives that can describe how the residents felt and their concerns. Our staff pulled it off without a hitch. Some people didn't even realize that some trees were missing that they were so concerned of and everything else. So the road is a legal width evacuation route type road that is required. And even the biggest critics that were giving me some hell are very thankful that it went off. So thanks to George and his staff and everything, it was wonderful. So they were showering me with accolades yesterday. So I just thought I would, we don't get to hear a lot of positive things. We only get to hear the complaints. But again, I watched that project go. The contractor did a fabulous job in protecting people's property and driveways and such. And anyway, that's all I got. Thanks.
Commissioner Smith?
Harold, just a fast follow-up, because that was more than you usually say about anything.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, for years, that was a project that was constantly viewed as a crash, burn, and die kind of a thing. And so when you go back to see the folks on Jupiter Island, tell them thank you for that, because it really, staff and a lot of people worked really hard for a long time to try to get it right. And it's really good to hear that it came off right.
Okay, I will just say it's the beginning of a brand-new year, a new opportunity for us. I wish our residents and all those that are listening a year of first health. Because what I've said all along is if you don't have health, then the rest of the issues pale in comparison. And so I just wish everybody a healthy and prosperous 2023. Mr. Donaldson, anything?
No, only to echo Commissioner Jenkins, and certainly the mayor, Prideaux, had been extremely involved in the public outreach during that project, and our staff put in innumerable amounts of time with the public working on that important facility. And you're right, it's one of those projects that I was awaiting every week for my phone to blow up, and suddenly it's done. I also want to thank the board. This is one of those projects through the procurement process that we had to go to the number 2 bidder on it. They were clearly the lowest bidder was not able to deliver initially what we required in our specs, and we selected Sunshine Land Design, who was do that. So that I appreciate you indulging us through that procurement process, because we couldn't have done it without them.
And they knocked it out of the park. They really did.
Fantastic. Ms. Beaupre, we have our next agenda item. Oh, I apologize. Ms. Woods, anything? Thank you. In my mind, I had already asked you. Our next item is a proclamation. It's adopt and present a proclamation declaring Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Martin County, Florida. Ms. Beaupre, you are recognized for the first time this year.
Good morning, Commissioners. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a visionary whose courage and determination to balance the scales of social justice changed the world forever. January 15th, 2023 is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and on this day, Abundance Love Ministries and the Hobe Sound community will unite to host a commemorative event to honor and celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And here to accept, we have Geraldine Harriel, who is the Director of Abundance Love Ministries, along with Alfred Miller.
And Geraldine had to leave, I think, and this is Gail. So
I'd just like to say to you, Chairman Campy, and the entire commission, thank you for the support as relates to the proclamation. And I just won't belabor you, but we all know the contributions that Martin Luther King gave so that we could make this country and this world a better place to live in. I don't think the dream has totally been met yet, but certainly we're continuing to evolve as we continue to evolve within the country with all of the facets. Thank you.
Would you like to be in the picture?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again.
just a note, if anything's going on in Hobe Sound, Alfred's got something to do with it. So he's one of our, and his lovely wife. They're our superstar couple.
Okay, we have a very extensive agenda today. We're going to probably be here all day. I'm kidding. We have 3 items. Yeah. The over-under is 10:15. Our next item is departmental number 1, Office of Management and Budget items which require board approval. There are 10 items, including a supplemental. It'll be presented this morning by Ms. Jennifer Manning. Ms. Manning, you are recognized.
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy New Year. I decided to give you a lot of items so you could get excited today as well.
Nice.
All right. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is permission to apply for the 2023 State Water Quality Assistant Grant through FDEP. The grant request is for $100,000. It requires a $100,000 match, which is budgeted in the ecosystem operational budget. The funding will be used at 10 to 15 sites to maintain long-term water quality program for species of nitrogen and phosphorus. Getting tongue-tied here. Second item is also permission to apply for the FY 2023 State Water Quality Assistant Grant, and this is for East Fork Creek, and it's to reduce the nutrient loads of phosphorus and nitrogen and suspended solids. The grant award would be $600,000 if successful, and it requires a $600,000 match. That match is budgeted in the Ecosystem CIP program. Item number 3 is also another water quality restoration project grant, and this is for the Indian River Lagoon, and they're asking for permission to accept to apply for the FY 2024 grant in the amount of $35,000. This is also to address the nutrient load-in St. Lucie Estuary, and it requires a $40,000 grant, and that is also a program in the CIP. Item number 4 is permission to accept the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Grant in the amount of $170,000. This is for the expansion of the existing seagrass nursery at Florida Oceanographic Coastal Center. And this does not require match except for staff time to administer. Item number 5 is permission to accept the FDEP FY23 award for $2 million, and this is for 7J's to construct the Force Main sewer system, and it does not require match.
That's nice.
You want to go ahead?
No, I said that's very nice.
Yes. Item number 6 is permission to accept the Clean Vessel Act grant, and this is to purchase a pump-out boat. It covers 75% of the purchase. The total cost of the boat is $114,000, so it will cover $84,000 roughly, or $85,000, and a match of $28,000 will be covered through solid waste funds. Item number 7 is permission to accept the Resilient Florida Program Implementation Grant for Twin Rivers. This is a grant that was awarded for $862,000 for Twin Rivers. It requires a match of $862,000. That is program and the Twin Rivers CIP program, CIP sheet. Item number 8 is permission to accept the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration Grant for mental health training, and it's $240,000 over a 2-year period, and they're expecting to hopefully get another additional 2-year funding for another $240,000, and this will cover the health awareness training initiatives throughout Martin County. Item number 9 is permission to accept the American Automobile Association Traffic Safety Grant. And this is a traffic preemption equipment that will be installed in 49 significant areas to enhance the safety and emergency response for fire rescue. The final item, number 10, is we're requesting a budget resolution to increase the fund for opioid settlement that we receive in the amount of $166,450.64. And this will be used to assist in the opioid use as well as misuse intervention strategies in accordance with the guidelines set forth by the state attorney, by the Attorney General's office. And that concludes my item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments from Ms.
Move
Manning?
approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heatherington to accept staff's recommendations, seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Ms. Manning, thank you very much. Our next agenda item is departmental number 2, contracts, contracts that meet the threshold for board approval, $1 million or greater. It'll be presented this morning by Ms. Christy Brotherton. Ms. Brotherton, good morning. You are recognized.
Thank you. Christy Brotherton, Chief Procurement Officer. We have one item for your consideration today. That is the Savannah Road Coy-Senda Roundabout project. This request is for a change order in the amount of $23,723.22. The purpose for this change order is to account for project pay item quantity overruns and underruns necessary to complete the project. Staff is recommending that the board approve change order number 3, the final change order, to Sunshine Land Design in the amount of $23,723.22, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. And that concludes this item.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Brotherton?
Move approval. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith to accept staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Ms. Brotherton, thank you so much. Our next agenda item is departmental number 3, communications overview, presented by, at least led off by Ms. Beaupre with her team. Good morning.
Good morning again, Commissioners. You thought you could get rid of me.
No, we
I'd bring
didn't.
up like a bad penny. All righty. There we go. Laura Beaupre, Communications Manager. As y'all know, our job is to connect with our residents and keep them informed about what's going on in county government. This could be day-to-day items like projects, events, programs, anything like that. It could also be crisis communications. A hurricane, a major event like a gas main break, a water main break, a gas leak, any of that sort of thing as well. What happens is when we receive information to share with the public, when we have information to share, we open up our communications toolbox and we select the right tools to convey that information to our residents. We consider things, why is this not going? There it goes. We have to consider things like the audience, the topic, the timing, the goal of what we're looking to achieve. So we take those things into account when selecting our appropriate tools. This overview was requested by Commissioner Campy to let the public know how we provide information and where the public can find information and how they can sign up to receive it. So basically, the rest of this presentation is a brief overview of the tools in our communications toolbox and where all this information we share can be found. All right, and looking at our tools for our toolbox, the first thing we use, of course, is our county website, www.martin.fl.us. We can put information up on a specific page or an alert on a specific page, especially if it's something that's of urgent nature and we want to make sure that people see it. We can also put an alert on the home page, which will show up on all the pages, as well as do a hot topic or a spotlight item. The spotlight items change frequently, and they're located about, for the residents who are listening at home, about halfway down our homepage. So those tend to change rather regularly, and we work with Jen Hagedorn, our web content person, to keep those up to date. Our residents do know that our website is the place to go to find information. For an example, during a water main break, which is one of the items that kind of precipitated the discussion about this presentation, Jen let me know that we put an alert on the top of the webpage about the water main break. And she had, at the time when we spoke, about 30,000 hits, which is higher than we get for hurricanes, any of that kind of information. So residents did know that they needed to look there. The next item that we have in our toolbox is social media. We have a strong presence on social media. Our team stays up to date, tries to make the best improvements, adjust to the algorithms, all those sorts of things every day. We have a presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, our general county pages. Also, some departments have their own pages as well. We can use social media for regular posts. We can also do targeted posts, a particular zip code, a particular demographic, an area. We can target posts to those areas as well. If there's something that's in a specific area that we want to highlight and it's something of greater importance, we want to make sure people get to the information.
Ms. Beaupre, may I
Yes,
stop you?
sure.
Can you explain to the folks at home that might not, a lot of people know Facebook, they might not know Twitter. It's not going to automatically appear on their page unless they're following us. Can you give the instructions on what people would need to do
Yes.
to join us?
Yes, we do. We do have these 4 platforms for our regular pages. On Martin, Facebook is Martin County BOCC. Sorry, Martin County BOCC. On Twitter, we're Martin County Gov, and then YouTube, it's Martin County FL, and Instagram. Oh, that one I'm not as. Martin County, Florida, on Instagram.
So they would have to go to these social platforms and then search the names that you just mentioned, or even if you typed in
You can.
Martin County.
Yes, you can
Then they'd have to follow or like or
Yes,
something
follow us,
else.
like us, and it's always helpful to interact with us on a regular basis because that makes sure that our stuff appears on your feed. Because as I'm sure you know, using them personally, if you don't interact with someone for a while or they don't post for a while, then they tend to, when they do post, they don't necessarily show up as quickly. So that is something. The other option, though, is that on our webpage, if somebody doesn't have Facebook or Twitter and they want nothing to do with signing up for an account, you can see all of these feeds on the bottom of our webpage. So you don't have to have a Facebook to know what we're posting on Facebook. If you look on the website, scroll down to the bottom, you will see our Facebook feed, and you can go in there and you can just look at whatever's been going on Facebook and whatever's been going on Twitter, which I think is a pretty nice feature for those who don't want to have a bunch of social media feeds, which some people don't. The next little tool in our toolbox here is local media. We have a really good relationship with the local media, TV, newspapers, online news, radio to a limited extent, I would say. We do connect with them by sending out press releases, with contact directly to the media. Might be a call to someone when we have something big going on and we want to get the word out. A lot of times they'll call us. Maybe it's a specific bit of information they're looking for, but it's also sometimes they'll call us and be looking for something. They're looking for a story for today. They're looking for something to talk about. It would be related to a specific thing and maybe not. But we do have a good relationship with them. And they are good about sharing information, especially during an emergency. So we do try to keep those relationships as healthy as we can. Our next item in our toolbox is electronic communications. We do a County Connection newsletter that goes out weekly, but a lot of departments have their own newsletters and updates that they send out as well. If a member of the public wants to sign up to receive any of these newsletters, I mean, there's art in public places, there's a growth management thing, there's a lot of different things. Parks and Rec has their own newsletter. You can go onto our website under the residents tab on our website. It's kind of towards the top. And then if you scroll down, you will see sign up for county newsletters. And there you can go and select library, whatever you're interested in. And you can select multiple newsletters. So it's a great way to stay connected and to get information as well. All right, moving on. For those of you who don't know, and maybe folks who don't know who are watching at home, we do have an app, a county app, Connect Martin. And that is, it basically puts all the information you want about Martin County government right in your hand on your phone. Very easy to use. It also includes our Twitter feed at the top of it, and it has push alerts as well. So if there's something emergency type information going on, then you can get push alerts through that app as well. If anybody's interested in signing up for that, you can either go to the App Store or Google Play, depending on your device, and you can download the app, and then you have it right there on your phone, easy to find and easy to access. All right.
Laura, on that app, someone can submit a request for service, right? If they were driving and, they see someone dumping debris along the side of the road, they can go right in that app and submit that.
Yes.
And that will come to our building as a request for service.
Absolutely. There are, on the home page, I guess, whatever you want to call it, of the app, there are some of the most frequently accessed items that are, we kind of generated through looking at what people access most on our website, and so RFS is on there. So if somebody does have something that they notice when they're out and they want to submit a question, or if they see an issue that they want to report, they can do that right from the app.
Good.
All right, next we have MCTV, Martin County Television. That is, of course, our government TV station that we are on right now. It is available on Comcast or Xfinity Channel 20, UVerse 99, and we are also, there are neighborhoods who are now putting in Hotwire, which is a newer service. So we are on Hotwire 1610 for those folks who are getting that. That's something that's additional that we have added in recently. MCTV was created initially in 2001, I believe, for county meetings, but since then have expanded to different kinds of programming. They do video shorts. They run things that are sort of PSA-like. So we have a lot of different types of programs and information on there. We also have static, what we call billboards, that run in between the programs, and that's kind of a, sort of a flyer type information. So if people are watching something and then they are going in between two programs, they'll get information that way as well. So that's another tool that we can use to share information with the public. We also, if we have video shorts and that kind of thing, we'll use those for social media. We may put them on the website as well, so they're not just one purpose to run on the channel. Sometimes they may have multiple uses. Our next tool is utility bill messaging. We can either put inserts like a flyer, that sort of thing, for people who get them in the mail, but we can also, a lot of people don't get utility bills via mail. They get it via email. And those flyers can also be inserted in the email. When somebody gets their bill, they'll open it up, it'll have a flyer, and maybe it's about the Connect Martin app, encouraging them to sign up for that. The flyer will show up, and then their utility bill information will show up. We can also direct print on utility bills, but it's a very short message, so it might be prior to hurricane season, putting something in, say, for the latest emergency information, martin.fl.us/hurricane, and just give somebody a very, very short bit of information. But it is a small window of what we can print on. The next tool we have is electronic message boards. We do have a limited number available of these within our agency. I want to say there are 9 throughout the county. Seems like that was number 7 or 9. And they can be used for messaging when they're available. A lot of times they're being used for, there's a detour or there's an event, or, they'll be scattered throughout the county and in use. And they are particularly useful if you have a short bit of information you want to share. And if it's in a specific area, it's useful. So if there is a boil water notice, then that's something that they've looked into using more if it's a specific neighborhood. So in the ingress and egress, you have the message board up. Maybe, I think they recommend a maximum of three slides. So it's still a pretty short bit of information too, but it can send somebody to the website where they'll see an alert for more information, and then they can get the additional information they need. Of course, one of the more traditional ways would be the printed materials. Flyers, posters, mailers, signage, door hangers, all that sort of thing. We'll kind of put that in sort of a general category. I do know utilities uses door hangers if they have if there's a water main break and there's a boil water notice and it's a small group of residents that are affected. I think it's 150 homes, I believe, is the threshold for that. And finally, on this slide, we have programs, events. We have CARES coming up, our Citizens Academy, which is restarting on Thursday. We're very happy after a hiatus here. So we have some very eager residents ready to come and learn more about Martin County government and go on some great field trips, see what we really do, where their tax dollars are put to work.
Can you explain how that works and what people would need to do to participate?
We are full for this session. We have another session beginning in March, and I believe we still do have some availability there. We have a few slots left for March. If they go to our website, they can search, you can search sign up for CARES, and then you can go in and you can sign up on the website, and then we'll get more information to you about when the next session starts. I believe it's mid-March. I think it's the third week in March, I believe, is the next one starting up. Is that correct? Yes.
And it's
third
at
week
no
in March.
cost.
No cost to the residents. It's a great program.
Excellent.
I mean, you know that. It's a wonderful program, very popular. And folks come through it and they rave about it. And then those folks are knowledgeable citizens, they're ambassadors. They tell their neighbors, and then we have people coming and saying, my neighbor went on this program, it sounds great. How can I come? How can I do this? How can I meet the people who make the signs that are on our roads? And, all those things. It's a really great program. So I would encourage anybody who's listening, please consider signing up. It's on Thursdays. It's a 6-week program. And you hear from all the county departments as well as the constitutional officers. And it's a fantastic program. So we're glad that it's back. The other event that I do have listed here, obviously there's meetings and there's any workshops that may happen and there's public meetings, that sort of thing. But our State of the County address is also coming up. We will be sharing information about that very soon. That is in February this year, February 24th. And we are excited to once again host that event and share a lot of great information with folks as well. And our final tool that I want to talk about is Alert Martin. Now, this is a free service provided by the county, and it is used by emergency officials, emergency management, fire rescue, utilities, the sheriff's office, and our municipal partners, but only to convey emergency information. So it's things that are of an effect to public health and safety. So you won't get other kinds of information through Alert Martin. Now, this is used for things like severe weather events, flooding notices, evacuations, gas leaks, water main breaks, that sort of information is done through Alert Martin. The one thing to note is that residents have to opt in for this service. It is not something that gets automatically sent to you. There are some notifications that get sent automatically, like regular weather stuff, but that's through the state. But if you opt in at www.martin.fl.us/alertmartin, you will give your name, address, and the way that you'd like to be contacted. So if you say, I want to receive it through all the ways, you can get it through text, email, or a phone call. You can select all the ways, and then you choose the priority. If you're most accessible via text, which is typically how I am, if you're most accessible via text, I might select text as my first notification choice, then a phone call to my cell phone, and then email is my last resort. So if I get a text and it says what the information is, I get the information I need, and I can say I received it, I won't get notifications on the other services. If you don't if you don't confirm that you receive it, then you're just going to get a phone call as well, but it eliminates the duplication. So we know that we have reached you. We do this just through the website. If you don't do it through the website, then, there used to be a text version, but if you do that, you only get general notifications. You don't get specific to where you are. Because we don't have, we don't have your address or any of that information, so we can't specifically target it to you and give you the information that relates to you. I did put, on the back table in the back, there are some flyers, sort of a FAQ that Emergency Management did about Alert Martin to share as well. I think that's pretty much it. In closing, rest assured, we're always looking for the best ways to reach our residents, new ways to reach our residents, and are always open to changes in technology and trends. And with that, I would like to answer any other questions anyone may have.
Questions from my colleagues? A couple. First off, excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
I think the frustration for us, and I'm sure for you and your teammates, is the fact that when people, especially after an event, they're huffing and puffing that they weren't somehow notified. Well, all of the options are there, but you have to make yourself available to them. The last one, I think, Alert Martin, especially when things are, the sheriff just had one recently because I guess there was a rash of boats being stolen and boat equipment and boats, people stealing stuff from boats, enough to the point that the sheriff's office put out an alert. My phone rang at my regular job. It said Martin County. My cell phone rang. Then I received a text message, and there was a voice, I don't happen to have a boat, so it's going to be very hard to steal my boating equipment. But that being said, I thought the system worked very well. You were right, when we had that water main break, the biggest frustration was the fact that people were sort of like, piling on to the fact that they were not notified. Meanwhile, there was tons of ways. And the good news is, and I didn't see it on your list, are you guys getting involved in like Nextdoor and things like that? I know it's a double-edged sword.
Well, Nextdoor, we have looked into that because that question has come up. And the way that the county archives for public records to be in compliance with public records, we cannot use Nextdoor because we can't archive it appropriately, as the county uses a third party service. We use Archive Social, and we can't appropriately archive.
Good to know. However, if someone wanted to speak up on our behalf,
Absolutely. If you see something on there, if you're somebody who's in the know, county employee, or somebody who just knows and wants to chime in on something, or let us know, we can see if there's somebody who is active on that platform.
but you guys are monitoring.
We cannot do that.
So the other question is, beyond you submitting out information to the public, are you all monitoring these platforms as well to see what else is, what people are posting about us?
When we
And I don't mean the commissioners, I mean the county.
when we hear about it, because unfortunately, with these platforms, you have to be a member of that neighborhood to be allowed to, to access the platform, that sort of thing. But we do hear from, from staff occasionally. They'll be like, oh, we heard this, we saw this on our Nextdoor, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we do hear about that kind of thing.
Well, I would recommend then to residents, because, that sounds like a terrific idea, but it's, look, with the sort of the fading of the Stewart News, and through no fault of the folks that are working here locally, it's just printed news media in general. Even when I see the printed news, there's so many things that are happening in the community that the paper does not have the ability to report on. And I find, and I'm sure my colleagues would agree, it's very frustrating for us when we know about things that are happening in the community, but the residents don't. And there's really, only a few options, social media, and social media has now broadened into these, moms pages and community pages and Nextdoor. The frustration is that if someone reads something that they don't have full understanding of, they think it's not true or is true, please can they contact your department?
Absolutely.
For clarification? Because I see one person will write one thing that is not accurate, and 57 people will be all over it for the rest of the day. Now, it's not as frustrating for me because I know, because I have access to the information, what is accurate. But for residents, especially some of our senior residents that, don't know what they're reading is factual or not, I'd like them to understand that they can contact. I do see sometimes people responding, especially lately in Palm City, what's happening around the original Costco site and what's going there. There's a lot of conversation about what's there. And, like you said, I don't know if it's my position to be, notifying and being the person there. But if people are interested in what's happening in their community, to contact us directly. Or I guess the key way is the website.
Yes, the website.
I know a lot of people don't use websites anymore. It's, I'd like to see you and the team doing some TikTok dances and TikTok, a lot of
I
TikTok.
talk about doing TikTok dances all the time. I've been told we can't archive those either appropriately.
You'd be surprised,
so-
you
I'm
could
ready.
bookmark a TikTok. TikTok is, a lot of people are getting their news via TikTok, so.
This is true. We do a lot of listening. We have a social media listening platform that we use. So there are limitations to that because it is limited to if it's a closed group that you have to be a member of, like say, like I'm in Moms of Abacoa where I live. So it's a closed group. So if it's a closed group, we can't listen in those closed groups. So that's where we kind of have to rely on people to let us know if there's something going on. But we do use a listening platform that does allow us to know what's going on, things that are open. So
Yeah,
if
we
it's an
just-
open group that
And
we
it's not like obviously it's a
monitor.
public platform, so if people are writing, they should understand that they're writing for everyone to see.
Yes.
I know some people are frustrated when they think that the county or commissioners are looking at these platforms. I think that they should be pleased that some of us are tuned in to what's happening in the community. So I appreciate it. Job well done. And to your team, we appreciate what you're doing. I know it's difficult. Most of the time, something big will pop up. I know yesterday there was a serious incident on Map Road last night involving a child on a bicycle. And Nextdoor and the social media platforms, the smaller ones, the more local ones, were blowing up over it. Really unbelievable. And some of the information was 100% false. And then it just caused more concern. Now, it was a serious incident. Someone was seriously injured on a bicycle on Map Road last night. But,
and that's always the.
and that's how I heard about it, because my wife came in to say something happened on Map Road last night, So these are the new avenues that people are using for their news. Real time, real time, positive, accurate, and not so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I'd just like to say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'd like to recognize my team because I do have
Bring them over. Let's
We've got
recognize
a couple folks here, but I.
Bring them over so they can stand with you and so we can see who's
Come
doing
here,
what.
Martha Ann, say hi.
Come on, Martha Ann.
I didn't bring everybody in, and Courtney, who's she's an adjunct member of our team. She's works with
We
public.
got the history of the coral reef. We can take 2 seconds to hear from our staff.
We're now 15 minutes into your over-under.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm sorry I messed it up.
It's amazing how the pot calling the kettle. Well, thank you. You're not allowed to show your faces. Commissioner Smith said tough on you.
Thank you.
But we appreciate the efforts, and I'm only kidding with Commissioner Smith. Okay, we did not make a motion to adopt the Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation. Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington, to adopt the proclamation that we discussed earlier for the Martin Luther King Day Jr. Day. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. We have reached now the end of the meeting. We're going to take public comment. We have 2. Anyone else that would like to address us, now's the time to submit your form. We'll start with Mr. Michael Circus. Mr. Circus, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Good morning. Mike Circus out of Palm City. I just want to quickly say thank you to Ms. Heatherington for bringing up our meeting earlier this week. I know a lot of people get worried when they hear the term affordable housing initiatives or anything along those lines. I just wanted to, while 80% of you guys are here, just give you a quick overview. Our proposal is a simple one. Essentially, in the state of Florida, the Save Our Homes Act allows a person to have a change of title for your homesteaded property without having your property reset at the current appraised value, and that's extended only to minor children or getting married, getting divorced, such like that. What we want to do is see the minor aspect of minor children erased out of that state law that allows a family to hand their homesteaded property down to their next of kin. And this pertains particularly to people that have passed away. Obviously, it would be something that has to get hashed out at the state level. But currently, with home prices, how much they've inflated, I look at my parents' home, who moved here in Martin County in 1997. If my parents were to pass away or leave that home to one of their sons, their property tax bill would increase more than 215%. I built my home 5 years ago, and if I left my home to my children and they were not previously on my homestead, that property tax bill would go up more than 90% in 5 years. So if we're trying to encourage affordable housing in the county, and we cannot even hand our homes down to our next of kin and make it affordable for them, how are we ever going to have anything else that's affordable? So by making this change, and again, this is a state level change, so I'd love to see the county get behind us. It's something I've worked on for probably about 5 years or so. I started hashing this out in my mind. We got a lot of support coming from our delegation locally, both Gail Harold, John Snyder, Toby Overdorf. I have a meeting with him later on, I think the 1st of February. We got a lot of support behind this, and I think it's something the county can really get behind. Again, I mean, if we want to have multi-generational housing, if we want to keep people in Martin County, or even get our children to return to Martin County after getting educations or getting some type of professional development, we need to have an affordable way for them to come back to the county. If we can't even leave our homes to our kids without being taxed off our land, we're probably never going to have anything affordable. So I look forward to speaking to the Affordable Housing Committee at their next meeting, if possible, or whenever that may be. But I really appreciate you guys hearing us out and getting the ball rolling on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a much better job explaining that than I did.
You did.
I am really deep in that boat that you're talking about.
And the city of Stewart, the East Stewart, they've been talking about multi-generational passing down, not just the homes, but the properties, that they're trying to keep their community intact without having necessarily outsiders come in and buy up the properties that've been in families for generations. So thank you. Our next request to speak for and final is Mr. Richard McDonald. Welcome.
Well, what I have,
Wait till you get to the mic. Thanks.
well, this might add on to what he's saying, because I deal with a lot of people, a lot of workers in Martin County, and I wanted to start the dialogue that they receive a 25% increase in pay, so they could afford to live here too. And like, people that work at the Sheriff's Department, 911, they need an increase in pay. And we lose a lot of workers to other counties because we don't pay enough. And I wanted to start that dialogue with the, like I said, the Martin County workers that work here and that help us and help our community have enough money to purchase a house in Stewart. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I've been talking about it for a while, so I said, let me get dressed today and show up and say what I've been saying.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me about that.
Appreciate that. Okay. We are at the end of any other public comments? Seeing none, we come back to the board. Commissioner Smith, anything?
I have one other ask that I forgot to bring up during my Coral Reef comments. If it would be possible, if staff could put together a thank you letter to the entire Florida delegation. It passed both senators and our entire congressional district of Florida unanimously. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's very, very rare that you get an entire state's delegation to support something. So if we could send a letter from the chair thanking them, that would be great.
Excellent idea. Anything further?
Yeah. On a sad note, and Commissioner, usually you do this for us, we've lost a couple really great people in our community in the last week or two. We just lost, I think, one of our pillars in many, many ways in the last couple of days, Jody Bond. She was a great friend, great pillar, really engaged in just like a lot of stuff over decades in our community. And it's a sad loss. And her family are dealing with all that, but just to let them all know that Jody played a huge role in our community, and thank you for all that.
Yep. Commissioner Heatherington?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Commissioner Jenkins?
I'm good, thank you. I don't want to be blamed for this dragging on.
I'm also fine. Mr. Donaldson, anything?
I have about 15-minute conversation.
Nothing, hey, look, I don't think, we're not even at the 10:30 break. I mean, I have a little bit more time, you can,
No, I'm good. Just a reminder that next meeting, we will discuss your priorities.
terrific. Ms. Woods?
Nothing, thank you.
Our next meeting is January 24th, and we are adjourned until then. Thank you very much.